Shareholders for both Capital One and Discover are voting today on a potential merger for the credit card companies. The deal would make Capital One the largest credit card issuer in the U.S., surpassing J.P. Morgan Chase. Capital One announced its bid to acquire Discover a year ago this month, but still needs full federal approval. For more on this, let's bring in CBS News MoneyWatch correspondent Kelly O'Grady here in Studio 57 with me. So what would Capital One buying Discover mean for the credit card industry as a whole and for consumers?
Okay, so let's start with the credit card industry. It would mean scale, and it would mean cost savings and synergies. So let's start on the scale point. Visa and MasterCard are by far the biggest right now when it comes to, I'm forgetting the name of it, excuse me, but they're a very big, thank you, credit card purchase volume, $3 trillion. $1.4 trillion. Together, that's 76% of the U.S. market. So for a Discover, which is there on the bottom, and a Capital One together, it would give them scale, give them the ability to compete with some of these big names in that space. It would also mean cost synergies. Discover actually owned its own payment network, which is the infrastructure that allows us to make those transactions. So Capital One would be able to leverage that instead of paying to Visa and MasterCard, which they use their infrastructure now.
Okay.
On the consumer front, this means more access to locations. Okay, now you're going to have Capital One and Discover. You can go to their ATMs. It's going to be a much bigger access for consumers. Another one would be potentially better offers. If they're going to compete with Visa and MasterCard, they're going to want to get you in the door with lower rates, better financing. Though some analysts do say when you have a bigger company, they also try to upcharge
competition.
you.
Right. I mean,
Exactly.
Is there any fear of that reducing competition, that would actually be worse for consumers?
Potentially, and that's where the regulatory approval comes in.
Okay.
This would maybe come to fruition mid-May, but that regulatory approval has already been pushed back for that exact reason.
I want to ask you about something else happening in your world. We know that a number of groups are suing to block Elon Musk and his group Doge from accessing private IRS records. Can you help me understand exactly what the concern is about a non-government body, because this is technically not officially a government body, accessing these highly sensitive records? What's the concern from some people?
So the concern is that these people, this entity, would have access to your social security number. They would have access to your banking info, right? A lot of us e-file, and so we give that to the IRS in order to get that, direct deposit. And the concern is what they might be able to do with that information, or that particular entity being hacked by someone else if they don't have the security. I do just want to note this auditing, if you will, is pretty standard in government. You have third parties coming in just to review systems. It's just we've never seen someone like an Elon Musk coming in before.
Okay, gotcha. Kelly O'Grady, thank you.